everyone, it's your girl Shelly. Welcome to another episode of Scorch TV. We have a side-splitting show for you today. We've got comedian Tony V and discuss everything from Lenny Clark to working in monkey suits. We also do a taste test of Taco Bell's Doritos Locos Taco. So let's get this fiesta started. Arriba!
Another episode of Scorch TV. Welcome to another fine episode of Scorch TV, the rock and roll talk show. I'm Scorch. Chris Zito is here. Our special guest today, Tony V, is in the house.
Woo! I'm right here.
I got to know now.
Very funny comedian. Tony is a very funny comedian.
You know,
which
Chris,
is what you look for in a comedian.
Well, yeah.
Chris, actually, you better be funny. Chris plugged it. I mean, he pumped you up like you have no idea. So you got to be.
Yeah, I can't live up to that.
Yeah, you've
well,
got
that's
to be
what I
one of the
try to.
better.
If I have an old friend on the
Yeah.
show who's a comedian, I try to set it up so that it's just impossible for you to be
Right,
that
so
funny.
you look better.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
so something else I want to bring up right off the get-go is something that you mentioned about age.
Yeah.
How a certain age group, all they're seeing is a hat. They don't even notice that like there's anybody
Yeah,
underneath it.
we talk about this. All you got to do is go, "Hello, young people," and then you get a pass. That's all. They let you slide.
I'll tell you what.
So they assume you're old just because you're tipping your hat.
Who
Guys don't
tips
do
their
that.
hat
Old
anymore?
guys. Yeah.
Listen, it's also not lost on me that all my clothing has lost its irony. You know what I mean? That is the saddest point in a man's life.
I don't know that for sure though. Maybe not.
Well, you got to try. But the hat, they just go, "There's an old guy with a hat."
I want to talk about the Taco Bell story that's been in the news. It's all over the place. Taco Bell took their tacos one step further. And I know if you're watching on TV land out there, you cannot believe that Taco Bell can make tacos any better than they do.
Well, Taco Bell, what I've always said about Taco Bell, here's the thing about Taco Bell, they have 27 things on the menu, but only 4 ingredients. So I don't know how they, some magical Taco Bell formula.
Seasoned beef,
Some
some cheese-like product,
right?
Product.
sour cream,
Guacamole.
and guacamole. Lettuce.
That's it.
Lettuce.
Oh, they do have, so
They have
that's
lettuce
5.
because you got to have filler.
Yeah.
Right.
And I couldn't believe it that they actually have Doritos nacho cheese shells now.
Right.
So it's taco nacho cheese. We actually went out today and we brought some of these Doritos shelled tacos in here. Oh, thank you, Tony V. You know what? If you ever lose your job as a comedian, you'd make a great freaking
Well,
waiter,
I
man.
like to be a nice guest.
Well, thank
I
you.
like to
So-
be the perfect guest.
And
I'll
those
be
that know
invited
me,
back.
know how much I cannot get enough fast food in my system.
You can see this.
Those that, all joking aside, this is the closest I've come to fast food in 31 years.
Look at that. You can see that is a Dorito in the shape of a taco
that
shell.
is a different color, man. That's
That
like
is
the corona
nice.
of the sun.
Can we-
Look at that. That is beautiful. How is that? I was gonna say, I don't really eat beef, but I don't think I'm in any trouble here.
Nope.
I don't actually
It's
believe
a
I'm in trouble.
very loose definition.
Pretty good, but what about
The original taco flavor of Dorito.
Doritos would be good, or what about Fritos? Just out and out Fritos.
A Frito shell would be nice.
That would be good. Just a giant Frito. That'd be nice. What about Bugles?
Bugles. now.
You wouldn't even have to make a shell. You
They
could
could
just
just
make a
stuff 'em right
bigger
in.
bugle. It'd be like an ice
it'd be
cream
like stuffed
cone.
shell.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it'd be like an ice cream cone. What are you eating? A bugle burrito.
Taco Bell should do
I love that. Chris, it's just a gag. Chris, it's just a gag. You don't have to finish the whole thing.
He's going to eat it till he gags.
I
really
can't
like
believe
it.
you guys even continue to have a conversation after you put this
Let
to
me
your
explain
lips.
something, Tony. We joke about it a lot, but Chris is eating that because he knows that's a Media Boss product. He's going to take every advantage. They gave him something for free to eat.
That's
He's
right.
eating it.
That's
All
true.
right, now we're giving
This is our version of the craft service table.
Tony V, our guest today. We're going to come back and we're going to find out all about Tony V and the fun things he's been into in his career as we continue in a few minutes with more of Scorch TV. We'll be right back.
Apparently, Zito gives the Doritos Locos Taco 2 thumbs up. Don't go anywhere because we have much more of Tony V coming right up. Only here on Scorch TV. Welcome back to Scorch TV. Now let's head back to the studio and find out how Tony V got his start in comedy.
And we're back with more of Scorch TV. So you, Tony V.
Yeah, that's me.
You actually worked at a mental health clinic when you got you started doing stuff at the Comedy Connection.
Yeah, I grew up in Somerville, Massachusetts. I got my my bachelor's degree in psychology and sociology. And I was working for toward my MSW, Masters of Social Work.
MSW, yeah.
MSW.
Yeah,
At
MSW,
yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I got
Oh,
all
yeah,
kinds
the
of
MSW.
initials.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got that.
Yeah, the MSW. And
I thought that was some wholesalers. I don't know what this is.
no, it's a new.
That's the
it's
shoe place, isn't it? The MSW?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Exactly. Yeah.
An MSW is actually a type of BMW. It's a car.
Because nobody that watches the show would have any idea what an
that
MSW is.
They
unless
wouldn't
you
know.
Tell them.
Right, exactly. Or a BMW for that matter, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
trust me.
But I was working on my MSW, and then I started going to the Comedy Connection because it was a very stressful job. You know, I shouldn't have control over anyone's
Too many
life.
letters.
Yeah, and you got to sign papers, and you're putting kids in hospitals and taking kids away from family. So I went to the Comedy Connection, and just to relieve. And I'd always
Yucking it up.
I always liked stand-up. So I get to know everybody, and then one night the MC was running late, or was at another show, and the guy that owned the place said, "Would you like to introduce the acts? You don't have to do any time, just go."
Yeah.
And I got up on stage, and it wasn't awful. And then one of my the heroes of my early stand-up career, Jack Gallagher, said, "Hey, you had
my
some
gosh.
funny stuff. You should come back." And
Yeah.
so I slowly put together an act, and then I liked the
Jack
hours.
Gallagher, one of
better.
the funniest guys that no one has
Ever heard of.
Yeah,
No.
right.
Jack Gallagher's
Jack
a
Gallagher.
hilarious guy.
Very funny guy. So and then they started paying me, and it was a joke that just went horribly wrong.
Now, so in
And that's got to be at
'86,
least 8-9 years ago.
It's
at this
I
point.
started. What 2012 was like 2007.
Yes. Right.
So I started in '82.
yeah, '82 this was. '86 now. '86
Yeah.
you're voted like Boston's best comedian
I
by
was
your
the
brother.
fo-
Is that right?
No, my brother. No. Are you kidding me?
I mean Showtime.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah.
My bad. It was
No one in my
Showtime.
family thinks I'm funny. And my parents still think I'm going through a phase after 30 years.
So how did Showtime end up voting you as the
So
best Boston's
here's
best?
what happened. And the year that happened, '86, Ellen DeGeneres was the national winner. Showtime, it was a fleggling. It's still a fledgling outfit, isn't it? Showtime.
See, in '86,
People on there.
No, what? 6 people.
it was
have right?
between
Edie Falco has a show on Showtime.
Yeah.
the funniest person in Boston in '86 was between
Massachusetts.
Tony V and Bill Buckner.
In '86, I was working at a place called Stand Up New York, which is on 77th and Broadway in New York City. They were having all Boston week during the playoffs.
yeah.
Right.
And it was myself, Don Gavin,
Oh, my
and
God,
and Dennis Leary.
Okay.
We were working there, right?
Right.
And so it's Game 6.
Was this what the Paper Moon turned into? That
No,
joint?
this was Uptown.
Oh, Uptown, I remember
no,
the joint.
No,
I
that was
remember that.
Barry
It was on
Katz.
Broadway
Yeah, it
way
was
up
on
then, right,
Broadway,
okay.
Uptown. And so, with Game 6, we got champagne. We got champagne out on the, and we're just giving it to the New Yorkers because it's an all Boston show. We're diehard fans. Some of us had money on the game, and so we got champagne lined up on the thing. And then the Buckner thing happens, and you go.
That is why he is known as the poor man's Lenny Clark.
That's true. That is true.
No, I
Tell
call
me that
myself
story.
that.
No,
Lenny Clark, who was,
Tell
by
us
all
about that,
stretch
yeah.
of the imagination, started Boston comedy.
Yeah.
And
Right.
is, without him, there would be no scene. A couple guys, Barry Crimmins, and
yeah.
a couple of the other guys we mentioned. But Lenny, it's got to the point where Lenny's got a TV show and he does this and that.
He's busy.
He's busy. So if he can't do a show, it comes to me. So I'm like Lenny too.
But that's
You know
like
what I
a
mean?
good slot to be in. That's a lot of
yeah,
work.
there's a lot of work.
That's interesting because all of us here, the whole Media Boss crew
Yeah.
and myself, we said to Chris, get Lenny Clark, and he couldn't do it.
No,
Like,
and
Lenny
Lenny
was busy. Lenny was busy.
Right.
So immediately
he said, why don't we get Tony V?
But here's what you don't understand. I don't have a choice. It's mandated.
Right.
Like I got the call from Lenny saying, "Go to Framingham at noon," and that's all. And that's all he told me. That's all.
You didn't even know what it was
no,
for.
I didn't know.
You don't know if you're running numbers.
You go stand out in front of 88 Waverly. Someone will tell you what to do from there. And I go, okay, Len.
It's turned into a really good media.
Until
Think about it.
he knew the
address out
I
address.
got it out.
Tony's
I'm a
walking door to
professional.
door. He's
I'm a
walking door to
professional.
door up Waverly Street, looking at all these places. The worst part is
Were you looking for Lenny Clark?
he found 7 other businesses that aren't doing TV shows funnier than this. That's horrible, man.
yeah. No,
That's painful. So speaking of
There's
TV,
my
a
God,
clothing
that's
store four stores down. That's a scream.
Yeah.
tell us, how do you end up opening up for Kenny Rogers and Billy Ray Cyrus and things like that? How does
A
somebody...
series of mistakes.
It would have to be,
Their
right?
mistake.
their
It was
mistake, yeah.
Whoever's booking
Yeah.
that show
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah, Casey and the Sunshine Band, I can see.
Hell
That-
yeah.
that is-
Opening for-
That's I've opened
have opened for them?
Casey many times.
You have?
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, it's at these, it's at the, the South Shore Music Circus
yeah.
and the Cape Cod Melody Tent and stuff like that. And they need to sell more liquor, so.
Well, you know what I find with those
Yeah.
gigs? I've done a lot of those too. They're just looking for a guy who's willing to stand there and do the time they tell them to do when no one's paying attention.
Yeah,
Because a lot of guys will bail because nobody's paying attention.
Right, they think it's ugly. But
That's why they
but
like to get a guy with kids.
Yeah,
because
but
they know you'll do the gig.
You
want the
have
check.
to need the money.
You need the money.
We
So-
call it doing our time.
Yeah. Doing
See,
our time.
we
Like
here are
prison.
very thankful that people don't leave.
The first time I opened for Kenny Rogers, and what happens is you do a decent job, and they ask you back, so you
Right,
can
right,
do
right.
this repeatedly. But the first time I worked for Kenny Rogers, he had there was nothing on the stage. It was in the round.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And the stage rotates.
South Shore Music Circus?
Yeah, it
Oh, my
rotates.
goodness,
And
wow.
he had all his band in the pit.
Yeah.
And so I go, I got a gag that's blow people's mind. So as the stage is rotating, I was in the middle, counter rotating.
Oh, boy.
So I never
You
spun.
never spun.
I never
You're still
spun.
facing the same spot the
So
whole time.
the thing is, and finally people go, hey, hey, you're supposed to be facing us now. And it couldn't have worked out better.
Oh,
It was
that's
very
great.
funny. It was very funny.
Tell us about some of your TV things you've done. A&E and Comedy Central. You've
Yeah,
done a
I
lot
did.
of good TV
I
stuff.
did all early A&E stuff. Evening at the Improv. I did probably.
Well, all
without
that
a
stuff,
question,
what was that, early 80s?
Or
Or
the
not,
early
late
mid
80s.
80s,
Mid to late 80s when all that stuff was on.
Right.
and-
I did 4 Conans. I did Conan, the late show.
There you go.
with
This is
Conan
these
O'Brien.
are real TV.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, real late night TV. I was on a sitcom.
Scorch TV.
Sitcom. I was, I did
Scorch
a bunch
TV.
of. I've been. This will go right to the top of my resume, by the way.
Okay.
But
So you go strictly chronologically.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Nothing has any weight.
Right.
Show business is show business. I did a movie with Robin Williams called The World's Greatest Dad.
Yes.
So I had a
Yes.
chunk
Terrific
of that.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good.
You were great in
movie.
that picture.
And Lance, that goes for you too. If you need to talk, if you want to get anything off your chest, please just come and see me.
Of course, Doc, I will.
I was.
You got to sort of go back to your roots with the social worker thing.
Yeah, it
you
was.
know?
I played a psychiatrist, a little bit off kilter, but a
Yeah,
psychiatrist.
sure.
And then I had a scene in The Town, the movie The Town. They obviously know how to work the box, but I like the way they zapped the bip into the D5 station.
How does one learn how to do that?
Get a job at Veracom.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Where I played the crew chief that explains how they break into the bank.
But
To
the
which-
utility guy.
The utility guy, right. Which, in my head, there's no movie. It's a 10-minute movie without that scene.
Well, that's the thing. You think he's making a joke, but there are little scenes like that
Yeah.
that are pivotal
the
plot
movie.
points.
Right, you go.
That's called a plot point in a
right,
script.
Right. How'd they break into the bank? I don't know. Movie's over.
Boom.
They got no one to look for. You know what I mean?
You don't have that great scene
Right.
where Ben Affleck's beating the guy
Right,
up in
right,
the projects.
right. That's the next scene.
Which my
Because-
favorite scene in the movie.
Of course.
Guy getting beat up in the projects.
But let me tell you.
Good time.
By the way, that would just happen. They just happened to film that. That wasn't
They
part
had-
of the
they had to
movie.
work
just
that
had-
into the
They were
script.
setting up the camera and they go, hey, that's going to be a good scene. This is the beauty of having a 13-year-old son. I couldn't show him the whole movie yet of The Town because it's pretty out there,
right.
But I showed him the part and he goes, Dad, I could tell you were acting because you look clean and it looked like you had a job. I I go, that's
Poor
my
kid.
boy.
Listen,
That's my boy.
When you're the child of a comedian, where do you ever develop a work ethic? You know what I mean? Like I have a grown son, he just got a job. He's 28. He just figured it out. You know.
I want to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about another facet of what you've done. We're just going to say, I've heard that you like to ape around a little bit, you know what I mean? And we might have some coverage of that. So we're going to come back with that and more of Tony V as we continue this fabulous episode of Scorch TV. We'll be right back. Check us out.
Wow, Tony's done a lot of stuff. Stay tuned because we have more funny stories with Tony V right after this. You're watching Scorch TV. Welcome back. Tony V is going to tell us about the monkey business he got into on the set of the Jerry Lewis telethon, right here on Scorch TV.
Welcome back, Scorch TV. Today's special guest, our pal Tony V. Now, I read something. I need to know if it's fact or fiction.
Yeah.
Tell me something. Was there a strange meeting between you in a gorilla suit, Spuds MacKenzie, and Ronald McDonald?
Oh, yeah. I've told this story a couple of times.
A couple.
I was the American tourist, the luggage gorilla back in the late 80s into the early 90s.
Okay, let's stop there. We could probably show you as the gorilla, as the American tourist, the gorilla. So
yeah, I know it's out there. I can't deny it.
We at American Tourister know that when your suitcase is out of your hands, it's out of your hands. That's why American Tourister suitcases are reinforced with strong stainless steel frames and solid locks that won't spring open on contact. Sure, you may pay a little more in the beginning, but it'll sure pay in the end. American Tourister. It's not just how good it looks, it's how long it looks good.
So now we've seen you as a gorilla. So
Right.
tell us about the meeting now.
Well, what happened was I would go to do these live events as the gorilla.
As the gorilla, yeah.
Yeah. So one time I'm doing a Jerry Lewis telethon in Atlanta, Georgia.
Now,
And
you
it's-
weren't you one of his kids, or were you actually?
No.
Oh.
They weren't helping. I was one of the special guests.
Oh, okay.
It was me, Ronald McDonald, and a guy in a Spuds MacKenzie suit. And it was the real Ronald McDonald.
The real
Ronald.
The actual Ronald.
The actual
The
Ronald.
one from the
He's got
commercial.
the magic trailer that's air conditioned. My day starts at like 6:30 in the morning in the suit doing a radio show, which I could never convince him I didn't need the suit.
6:30 a.m. right up your alley.
Right. And it's Atlanta, Georgia. So as the day progresses, we're doing a thing at the local mall where the kids are going to put money in the fishbowl live, and the three special guests, me, Spuds, and Ronald, are going to do a traditional clog-type dance in the 98-degree heat, 100% humidity.
A clog dance.
A clog dance. So they would put the music on, and the three of us would be dancing on stage. You know what I mean?
You're
And then-
already moving your arms way too much.
I was
really
in
should know
worse
better.
shape then too. And so what they didn't tell us is every 30 seconds they'd go, "Do you want them to go faster?" And the kids would go, "Yay, yay!" And, like that. And so they would put the music on faster. We'd start dancing more and more.
Oh
and more.
my Lord!
And so about the third time it went up faster, I look over at Spuds, and I look over. Yeah,
So you guys are on a first name basis by
me
now.
and Spuds,
Yeah.
no, right.
Yeah.
So, and he has stopped doing a traditional clog type dance.
Yeah.
And he's broken into more of a Grateful Dead sort of wavy, kind of.
Sort of a hippie chick
like
thing.
hey, baby, like that. And Ronald looks at me and drops Ronald completely. He goes, "I don't think the dog's gonna make it." And I am as hot as I can be. There's like steam shooting out of my eyes. And no sooner does Ronald say this that the dog hits the deck.
Just boom, down he goes.
Like not even pretend like I can't get my breath. Just like out
Boom.
and boom. And there's silence. There's silence in the outdoors. And the woman in the frilly hoop skirt is not laughing anymore. It's crying.
Right.
And kids are crying, "The gorilla killed the dog!" and nobody is putting money in the fishbowl anymore.
So the whole telethon, the Jerry Lewis telethon thing is shot.
And he's not going to get the extra $60 he needs to cure the disease finally.
Right.
So the woman goes to me, "You got to do something." And I go, so I grab the dog.
Okay.
Ostensibly under his paws, and
Yeah.
I drag him off the stage, like
Right.
clunking down the stairs because he's out
Out
completely.
cold.
And Ronald goes, I'm sweating, I'm out of here. So he goes back into the magic trailer, which was attached to
Nice and air conditioned.
Yeah, air conditioned. And so I rip open the guy's suit, and he is out. I'm just seeing whites of the eyes.
Oh, my.
And this guy reeks of the product of which he is endorsing.
Oh.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Really?
The event bought so much beer that one of the women talked to her husband. He's in flannel and jeans, and it's 100 degrees. And he got hammered. He goes, I'll put the suit on. We're in Atlanta.
Wow.
You know, right. So the woman goes, you got to wake him up. I go, I'm not giving him malt to malt. I'm not going to.
Wake him up.
So I grab him, and I start slapping him. Like I'm wailing on the guy, and I'm in a gorilla suit, smacking this guy, and the kids are peeking around, weeping.
Oh no! I'm seeing you do this.
Yeah, we're outside.
Horrendous.
And they're crying and gnashing their teeth, and it's just awful.
Tearing clothing.
Right, and so
biblical at this point.
So the guy goes. I let him go, and then about 10 seconds later, like in a movie, he sits bolt straight up, and I'll never forget this. To the day I die, he goes, I need a beer.
Tell you what we're going to do. We got a couple more things I want to talk to you about, and then we're going to have Chris Zito's a way too personal question.
That's true.
As we wrap up a great episode with Tony V on Scorch TV. We're coming right back.
And Tony V saves the day. If you guys miss any of this or any other episode of Scorch TV, head on over to myscorchtv.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. Don't go anywhere because we're wrapping things up with Tony V in the studio. Take it away, boys.
Back with more with Tony V on Scorch TV. How do people, before we do our final question?
Yeah, I don't want people to get a hold of me.
Okay, cool. So nobody.
It's a hassle. When you get popular and people know where to find you, they ask things of you. Then you're responsible for people coming to shows. I don't want anyone to.
You don't
know.
want to do that.
You and
But if
Chris
you
tell
have
me
to
that, but
know-
I would never know. You and Chris can tell me all about that. I've never been popular.
Yeah. No, I've never done that.
You can go to TonyVComic.com.
That's your website.
That's my website.
Yeah.
TonyVComic.com. And
TonyVComic.com. Yeah.
now, if we can,
Yes.
this is the, I mean, these questions are great, but this is the pinnacle. This is the culmination
This is
of a tremendous interview.
the apex,
This
if
is
you
the
will.
apex of a tremendous interview. This is what we call Chris Zito's way too personal question. Take it away, Chris Zito.
All right, Tony V, here's your way too personal question. Tony V, what is your inseam? That's an interesting personal question because we were looking for a tape measure to just verify it.
Let me make that a little bit more personal.
Okay.
I dress to the right.
Actually, that was, now, it's interesting you know that because when we had Jim Loletta, that was the way too personal question. Which way do you dress? And that's more evidence that you're an old guy because that's an old guy question.
Right.
Most guys
They
don't know.
measure your
And which way did you say, to the left?
I dress to the right.
Okay. All right.
And
the inseam
my
is?
inseam is 31 inches.
31 inches.
And
My
there you go.
circumference now, which
Well, I wasn't getting, that's even way too personal for the way too personal question.
you know Ocho Cinco.
I do.
He named himself in Spanish after his football jersey.
Yeah.
I am honoring my pant size.
Right.
So you can call me Tony Cuatro Dos.
Oh, very nice. Well, and that's why we were gonna play a game called Guess My Girth with you, and then it got a little misconstrued as to what we were discussing.
I understand.
So, yeah.
And I still would have answered, I dress to the right.
to the right. There you go.
Oh my God. Hey, you know what? That's our guest, Tony V, ladies and gentlemen.
That was great.
Chris, where can people get a hold of you?
ChrisZitoIsFunny.com.
And about the new radio gig.
Mix 93.1 in Springfield, Massachusetts. Check it out.
Every Wednesday night for me, it's New England Seafood in Methuen for trivia. Every Thursday, it's TJ Callahan's in Tewksbury for trivia. Monday through Friday, 2 to 7 p.m. Rock101fm.com. It is the afternoon Lumpanation. And for all of us, the entire Media Boss crew, what a great show. Tony V, thank you so much, man.
Brother.
We will see you next time live right here on Scorch TV. Thank you for checking it out. We appreciate it.
Phew! What a crazy fun episode. I'm Shelly, and thanks for watching Scorch TV. Peace, love, rock and roll.